As you can see, the dynamic duo is back. We've been away for a while. People actually have been asking me though, when are you guys going to do another show? Oh, okay,
I know.
cool.
Yeah. Liz was messaging me like, did you guys stop doing the podcast? And I was just like, no, we've been traveling. And then I got sick.
I've been traveling and sick. I was actually sick too. If you're tuned in for the first time, we are relationships, romance, and propaganda guys. The sexiest relationship podcast on the planet. I always say that. We expose the truth and broadcast the lies. This is the beautiful Rachel K. Burke. These are her books, Love Bites and Sound Bites. Check them out if you haven't. Some of us are still at home, some of us are not. It's a good read. She's an author, actress, and I am a film and TV director, producer, writer with a lot of cool things going on. And together we are relationships, romance, and propaganda. Thanks for tuning in, Rach. How have you been? I haven't seen you in how long?
I know. It's been over a month.
Over a month, right?
Yeah.
So much has happened, Rach. I want to tell you about my new girl.
I know. I was looking at your and Kim actually messaged me and was like, "Oh, Imani's new girl, so cute." And I was like, "I know."
That's what everybody's saying. Even my daughter's mom gave me kudos on that. I mean, the interesting thing is, not only is she cute, but she's friggin' awesome.
Yeah, she seems cool. All right, when's her birthday? When's her birthday? I gotta ask.
Gemini.
Yay!
Yep.
Perfect,
man.
Is she a little firecracker?
She is, but yeah.
They're feisty.
Yeah, she's a little feisty, but a great mom. You know what I mean? And I really wanted to tell the story. I mean, I almost could do a whole show, but because the reason why I wanted to say how we met is because I think it's a teachable moment for our audience.
Okay.
Where age and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, I love hearing how people met.
Yeah, so should I go into it now? Mm-hmm. I want to find out what you've been up to too.
Yeah.
So, all right, audience. So real quick, and I told her that we were going to talk about how we met and her a little bit on today's show. Mm-hmm. Real quick, I had been seeing this nurse in San Diego, and I met her on the same dating app, Hinge. And she had been, stuff was going okay, but then it kind of started going south. She kind of did the whole touch and go, came in hot, was talking about this and that, all these big plans. And when she saw, okay, you're someone I would take serious, she backed off and even tried to blame me for it. Mm-hmm. And I had to check her. And I'm like, listen, I match energy. Yep. If you give me 10, I give you 10. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm very symbiotic in my approach and how I create an actual relationship. Yeah. You know what I mean? So after I had to check on how she tried to blame me, we had both decided like, okay, we'll just continue to see each other if we want, when we want. And if we both start seeing other people intimately, we'll let each other know. Yeah. That was our plan. This was on a Friday. I'm going to just say YS, just say her initials. I meet YS the very next day on the same app. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We talked that night. This is on a Saturday. We talked through the app. She didn't want to give me her number at first. We talked through the app on a Saturday. On Monday, we met in person for the first time. And on Tuesday, she didn't tell me and got off the app because she said she had met her person and she knew. Oh, I swear to God. And let me tell you something. It's crazy because
that's cute.
All her friends had been on Hinge for years. Yeah. Had never been on a dating app before. Yeah. Was on it for 2 days and decided to pay for it because she wanted to be very specific about what she wanted.
It's such a gem. So my friend that I always tell you about, the one that's like looking for her husband. Yeah. She's a Gemini. They date like it's a business plan. Oh yeah. It's like they have the list of what they want, the non-negotiables. Yep. And I mean, they will just go through. My friend runs out of guys on Bumble. Like in LA, I mean, wow. It's impossible to do. But she spends time on that app. Yeah. I mean, let me tell you.
But she didn't even, she got, and her friends were like, oh my God, how did you meet him that quick? Like you were on the app 2 days. Yeah. So anyway, she met me on a Monday. On a Tuesday, she got off the app. And that Friday, we made it official.
Oh, wow.
And been going great ever since. And
what about your 3-month rule?
I know. I totally went against my whole 3-month rule. And with this chick, with this woman, this lady, I knew too, you know what I mean? That it was the right thing. And we both decided to get to know each other within the relationship and make the time count. which is what we did. And it worked out. And you know, I kind of just want to tell my audience, my first instinct was, first when I saw her, I said, does this girl know how old I am? That was like my first thing. Like,
is she young?
She's young. She'll be 28 in June.
Okay.
So I was like, does she know how old I am? That was my first thing. Like, what is she looking for? So when I met her, when we had lunch, I was like, wow, she's hot as hell. Like,
yes, when I was 28, I was fucking a 50-year-old guy. I didn't care.
See?
Yeah.
Rach, when I saw her in person, I was like, okay. First thing I thought, is she a gold digger? Is she materialistic? I just didn't know what was happening. I was like, this girl is way too fly. Where did she come from? I mean, beautiful.
Yeah, well, I've seen the videos, and I'm like, wow, she's really cute.
I'm like, where did she come from? So she'll tell you the first thing I asked her was, hey, are you materialistic? Like, that's the first words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
No beating around the bush.
No beating around the bush at all. Because I didn't want to, I was like, what? My first instinct, this is one of them materialistic.
But I mean, say how old you are.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I was shocked. So then I started asking her about that. And she said, hey, listen, she said, first of all, no, I'm not. I have my own money. I'm not looking for anyone's money.
Yeah. And
she said, so I said, well, why did you pick someone in an older age range? She said, well, my ex-husband was young. He's a kid. He's younger than me. They have a 2-year-old daughter together.
Okay.
And she said, my 2 exes after him were both young and full of shit.
Yeah.
And I wanted to date older. So I said, I had the app set from 40 to 55.
She did.
Yes. I had the app set at 27 to 40.
I was just going to ask, like, I was surprised you would go that young.
Right. Well, I knew that women mature faster than men.
Yeah.
And if she was in her late 20s, mid to late 20s, approaching 30 and mature, it would actually work for me, because even though I'm 48, I'm very young spirited. I work out 5 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So, and a lot of the women that was a little older, they just didn't really have the right vibe and energy for me. So that's why I switched it to 27 to actually 40. You know what I'm saying? So once we got past that, she was like, oh, okay. And she was happy because she was like, had you put 28, we wouldn't have met. You know what I mean? So Rach, I swear to God. And it was one of those times where what I was going through with the girl, with the girl in San Diego, different people was hitting me up. Yeah. And I had all these different dates planned with women that we had liked, but never got around to actually meeting.
That's always when it happens, because they sense that energy. You know, it's like that happened to me too when I got serious with my ex. All these guys that I had been like pining for, all of a sudden were like, hey, like hit me up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's because they sense you're with somebody else. That always happens.
This is before I met YS.
Oh, okay.
This is right when it was ending with the other one in San Diego.
Yeah.
People was hitting me up. And so I had all these dates planned.
Okay.
And then YS came out of nowhere. And after meeting with her and seeing who she was, I canceled all the other dates.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, this is it. I mean, Rach, when I say we're literally perfect for each other, it's strange.
Yeah.
The little intricacies that we have that are similar are unbelievable. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Which is why I did it. You know, that's why I went for it. All my friends love her. My mom, my daughter. I mean, yeah, she is absolutely amazing. Career driven, in college, great mom, like great girlfriend, like just super solid.
Yeah, I love Gemini girls. I always get along with them.
Acts more mature than any other woman I've ever met, ever.
Well, it's funny because Geminis can be feisty and they can be confrontational. And generally, I don't like confrontation, but for some reason, I get along with them great.
Yeah. Well, both of our signs get along with Gemini.
Oh, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's funny that I do, because I hate confrontation so much that I'm like, how do I get along with them? But I think it's because, there's Geminis are supposed to have 2 personalities, and the other personality, if they're not feisty, it's like they're really fun. I think they're like so much fun.
Right. They are. And let me just say this for the audience too. I mean, she checked every single thing on my list. Plus things I didn't have on the list that I didn't even think was possible to actually get.
Yeah.
She checks everything. That's the last thing I want to say. She is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good find for me.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Yeah, I know.
But that's what I've been doing. Besides that, and being sick and production and this and that, I'm leaving in a couple of weeks to go back to Louisiana for the restaurant, and yeah.
Cool. I know. Yeah,
So
I went to Florida.
How was Florida?
It was open, but I think that's how I got sick because
okay.
you know, when you sit in your house for a year, your immune system isn't exposed to stuff. So the first night I went out to a bar, it's like the next day I came down with a sore throat and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. It wasn't COVID though, right?
No, I got a test, but I thought it might be.
Okay,
so I hooked up with a guy over Christmas. He was a friend of my brother's, and he lives in Florida for 4 months out of the year for work. So I was going there to visit my mom because she was doing a travel nursing assignment there. And I was like, oh, I should look him up and see if he's close to her. And turns out he's like a half hour from where my mom is. Yeah. So I hit him up. And he called me and he was like, oh my God, yeah, like I have Tuesday, Wednesdays off. Let's go out.
Yeah.
So I ended up meeting up with him, but he said to me, he goes, my friends visited and they both got COVID when they were here.
Oh, okay.
Cause Imani, dance floor, club, wide open.
That's what I heard.
In
That's
Naples.
what I heard.
Like South Florida, not so much, but in Naples, yeah, we go to this place and I was like, whoa, it's like, I feel like I'm 21 again. Like we're at the club, the dance floor and everything.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And then the next day I was like, oh no, am I getting sick? So I was okay the rest of the trip, but I could tell something was about to happen. Like I was about to get sick. Yeah. And then I think because I flew, then my ears just totally were like blocked for 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
So it was just more of a head thing, but no, it wasn't COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's good.
Well, that's good. Yeah. I think if you got it, it wouldn't affect you anyway. Your BMI is so low, you're healthy. I don't think you'd have.
No, my sister's had it, my uncles had it. Like they were fine.
Yeah, I don't think it would bother you. And I have gotten vaccinated. Me and quite a few of my friends.
Okay.
Got vaccinated, which
I can't because I have facial fillers, and apparently, if you get fillers, they can get like really, really inflamed. That's a bad side effect from the vaccine.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they tell you not to if you've had fillers, and I have. So.
Okay, got you. Yeah, well, just stay on your vitamin D and your other stuff.
If everyone else gets vaccinated, I'm all right.
You're fine. Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's funny. That's the reason why I did it, because I wanted to be a part of the solution. Because I knew so many people needed to get it. I don't think I needed it either. I just did it to be a part of the solution. I did it for people like you who can't get it.
Yeah, I think if you can get it, do it.
Right.
And then let's open it back up. I did meet a girl over the weekend that works for Golden Voice, the ticketing company that sells Coachella tickets. And they just called her back to work. She's been out for a year. And I was like, when are concerts coming back? And she said August. Like,
serious.
All right. And they just scheduled a music festival down in Dana Point for September.
Interesting. Thank God, man.
I know.
Probably because everyone's getting vaccinated.
Yeah, I think so. But you know what? Also, too, Imani, I had a phone appointment with my doctor about a month ago. And she said, this was before, this is when they were first starting to roll out the vaccine. It's probably probably a little over a month ago. And she said our numbers in LA were at a record low, like since it came out, the lowest they've ever been. And I was like, then why can't we eat indoors? Right. And I asked her, I said, do you think it's because of the vaccine? And she said, no, it's just because we had such a spike around the holidays because everyone was traveling and getting together. And, and after the holidays, everyone's just kind of hunkered down working.
Chilling. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can eat inside again, but only at 25%, I think, or something like that.
No? So you can now.
Yeah, but then you couldn't.
LA just opened indoor dining like 2 weeks ago.
Right. Exactly.
Yes, so it's nice. It's nice to eat indoors, but it was nicer in Florida where I was on the dance floor.
That's cool. I wish I could get on the dance floor somewhere. That'd be so amazing.
I felt like I was like 20 years old in just like we used to go to Miami and dance.
Yeah, because we haven't done it in so long. Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. Rach, you got to be kidding me.
I know. So I'm supposed to meet up with a guy this week on Bumble. I never check it, but like if I'm just bored in my house once in a while, let's do some digging. I'll see how it goes. He's in an open relationship, so I was like, maybe it could just be a fun hookup. But he's
Right.
into like BDSM kink
Okay.
stuff, and I don't really know anything about it. So I was like, worst case, if I'm not into him, it'll be good for the podcast. I'm gonna ask him a whole lot of things.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Because I told him I had a hot tub, and he was like, "Oh yeah, let's just like, why don't I just come over and go in your hot tub?" I'm like, I haven't even met you. No, that's like guys just think they can show up at your house. Like, no, I'm not gonna have a strange man. Like, what if I'm not what if I'm not into him?
Right, exactly.
No, good.
Exactly.
So might have some good topics for the future.
Yeah, and you know what too? We can get on topic after this, after we got the audience all caught up. We should talk about date. Did we talk about dating someone with kids already?
We did, yeah.
Oh, we did. Okay, because I'm experiencing that now because she has a 2-year-old, and I'm assuming that role is like the stepdad and all that. So you know what I mean. So I wanted to.
Well, you know what I was thinking of doing. I'm gonna have to release a lot of personal stuff if we talk about this, but I'm kind of at this point where I don't give a fuck. I'm going through some family stuff right now where I'm thinking back to like I'm starting to put stuff together from when I was younger, and I'm getting really fucking mad about it. But I'm starting to figure myself out a little bit.
Okay.
But I think we could tie it into that, because what I was going to tell you too, I think we should do an episode on like how our role, maybe like how our, I don't want to say relationship with our parents, but maybe how our parents' relationships have affected how we have relationships as adults.
Right.
I don't really know how to phrase that, but it also goes into you being a step parent role, because that's going to affect that kid someday. Like if you guys end up together, because even as a kid, I remember like it was just like me and my mom, and I loved it. And then she married a guy when I was like 4 or 5. He was kind of mean, and it was and it's like that dynamic where you're like, you're taking my mom away from me.
Right.
So when I dated somebody with kids, I tried to be sensitive to that, because his son was going through the same thing. I was the first girlfriend, and I was like, I know how he feels because I was that kid too. It's like you're taking my parents away. Yeah. So we can do. Yeah, we should do an episode about just kind of parenting in general and how it affects relationships.
Relationships, parenting, and how it affects. That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into what we're talking about today, which I think is a great topic. Sorry, audience, we have to just catch up a little bit, and we're on the show because we know you guys want to know what's going on. So we're talking about, should you take an ex back? And I think that's an interesting topic. Should you take an ex back, Rachel?
Nope.
What do you know?
I say no.
Why? Okay, why is it that you say no?
Because
tell the people.
Every time I've seen this happen, I don't know, I shouldn't say every time. There's been I've seen both, but more often than not, if you get back with an ex, those same issues resurface that you had before. It could take a few years. But they do always, I just feel like people are patterns, and you can repeat patterns a lot. And, like there's exceptions. Like I have friends who had broken up with their boyfriend and then got back together, and then they ended up getting married, but also they ended up getting divorced. So yeah, I guess that's a bad example. Yeah. So I'm going with no.
You're going with no. I mean,
I'll give you some examples.
Yeah, but if I could answer it real quick, throw the question back at myself.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think it depends on the situation and the circumstance. You know what I mean? So would I take an ex back? I probably would if we didn't end in a negative way. Yeah. Or if we didn't, you know what I mean? Yeah. If we just didn't end in a negative way.
Have you ever?
No, but there are exes that I would take back.
Okay.
You know what I mean? As I'm thinking about it, there are a few exes that I would actually take back. I actually would. You know what I mean? Because it didn't end, even if back then it ended on like a weird note or a bad note or a negative note, some of the situations weren't really that bad per se. And there are a couple of exes that I would take back. And then there's Then there are others that I would literally run from if they even thought about it. You know what I mean? I would like
know who.
Feel the thoughts. No, she can't be thinking that. You know what I'm saying? It's a couple like that. You like that.
That's funny.
So yeah, it really depends on the circumstance. I mean, if I could tell one story real quick, and I only know this story because I love Steven Spielberg, and I don't know if you know the story of his parents and what happened with his mom and dad.
I think you mentioned it on another episode, but I forget. Yeah, so tell me again.
Yeah, so his mom ended up with, his dad's best friend. You know what I mean? And they ended up breaking up. I mean, and Steven Spielberg was really bothered by it. I mean, really bothered by it. Like, hated his mom for it because it was the mom's fault. You know what I'm saying? His dad was super solid. And then years later, after she went through her process with the best friend, his mom and dad ended up getting back together. And if you hear the story, it's just mind blowing. I'm like, I couldn't have done it. There's no way I could have done it. There's no way you're my lady or my wife and you end up with, say, Crispy for a few years. You know what I'm saying? Or one of my other friends. And then years later, I'm like, Rach, yeah, I still love you. Let's go ahead and make it happen. I forgive you, which is what his dad did, man. And that is mind blowing to me. That's more power to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know. My dad always used to say, you don't go back.
Right.
I think it's really hard to go back because, I think as time goes by, you see that relationship much more clearly, right? Because when you're in it, it's easy when you love someone to put those issues, kind of push them under the rug, right?
Right.
And I think when you're out of it and you're not in that place where you're so attached to them and you're so emotional, I think it's easy to look back and see why it didn't work out. But initially when you break up with somebody, I've never wanted to take an ex back. The only one that I was upset over for a long period of time was my recent ex. But I think it was because we had no closure. He just moved on with somebody else, and you and I talked about the two where it's like they're on social media and I could see everything they were doing. Yeah. So I think that kind of prolonged that recovery. But, it's like I did this thing for a while where because he was someone, with somebody else and I couldn't have him, I would put him on this pedestal, right? And like remember the good times and forget the bad. And now when I think about it, I'm like, God, I didn't even want to be with him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not what I want. Cause now I've also had the experience of meeting other people where I feel like that, like, and sometimes the circumstances don't always work it out, but I've met people after him where I'm like, God, this guy would be my person if he wasn't married, or if he was available or something. But you meet other people that are like, no, this is actually what I want. I didn't want him. There's a reason we broke up, Yeah. So I have a quick story about that too. So remember I told you my mom remarried her ex-husband and we were like, oh, great.
Yeah.
This is working. Cause they, and it's a weird circumstance because they, got married because she got pregnant with my brother when they were dating. So it was sort of like this instant family where they never really got to date. And they, they fought for years and years. And then finally after, probably 15 years or something split. And then she left him because she met another guy and, so like broke his heart. He wouldn't talk to her for years. They finally like reconnect at my little brother's graduation party. And she was like, oh, I still love him. And we're all like, oh no, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
But, I will say for a couple of years, I was like, okay, this is working, because it was different circumstances where the kids were older, they're out of the house and they could actually date. And he used to drink a lot and he'd get like mean drunk. So he wasn't doing that for years. He was like happy drunk, they'd go out to the bars, they'd go kayaking. And I was like, all right, cool. This is working.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, but she started pushing for the marriage again. And we were like, no, you don't need to get married again. Cause I was afraid of that. I was afraid, like, even though things have been good for a couple of years, what if he starts getting mean drunk again, you know? And it's exactly what happened. So right before they got remarried, there was a red flag that she should have listened to and not married him again, where he got mean drunk, started sending, saying nasty things to her, sending her nasty texts. He messaged me, sent me a drunk Facebook message, was like, your mom can move the fuck out.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, oh no, here we go again.
Right.
So he chilled out after that. She was like, if you do that again, we're done. So he stopped, they got remarried. And now the same pattern is repeating all over again. And so now I think they're going to split a second time.
Interesting. Seriously. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear. And it's funny because you've talked about them so much throughout the year on our show, so I kind of feel like I know the situation.
I know, and we were we were all rooting for them. And so I've just seen this happen so many times where, and even like when I broke up with my ex, I knew logically, emotionally, something else, but logically I knew. I was like, if we get back together, it's going to be the same shit all over again. Like there's a reason you guys break up.
Right.
So right. I'm going to go with no.
Right. And one of the things I wanted to add too, when you break up with someone, especially if it wasn't that bad, I think with perspective, if it's cool, sex is different. You know what I'm trying to say? If you want to just have sex and that's it, and that's all it is, kind of like what me and the girl in San Diego decided, even though it never happened because I met my girl now. Yeah. We had kind of decided to be there for each other in that way, even though we knew it wasn't going to go anywhere.
Okay.
Even though it never gotten around to that.
It's just like a sex friend?
Just be cool. She was like, if I have needs, I'll hit you up, vice versa, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
So like the weird thing for me is I don't think I could go, maybe with my ex, I'd maybe still be attracted to him, but there's never anyone that I've really slept with, or not many people that I would actually want to go back to. Cause I feel like once I'm out of it, I'm out of it. I'm completely detached from that person now. Right. Like even the guy I was dating over COVID last year, like I think about both of them actually, like the two, and I'm like, ugh. Like gross is, and he still calls me once in a while, and I'm just like, oh, I don't even want to answer the call. Yeah.
I think with us it was a little different because we weren't in a relationship yet. It was only a month and a half, and we were still talking.
I mean, he and I were only 2 months, but still, it was like towards the end. I remember he came over one night when we weren't together, and I just looked at him and I was like, I've just like lost all attraction.
Right. Okay.
Like that can happen. So I think it's different for women though, because I think men, if they're still somewhat attracted to you, will probably still sleep with you,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think we were both attracted to each other still, but she just realized she didn't want what she thought she wanted.
Okay. Do you think there was someone else? I always wonder in these situations.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because she barely had time for me. She had 2 kids. You know what I mean? Okay. She barely had time for me. Worked full time, mom full time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Could have been though. You never know, man.
I know, because Kim just had the in quick out quick guy, and it's like I didn't say anything, but I was thinking it's going a little fast.
Yeah.
But she was all psyched about him, but this happens to her all the time, and I feel so bad. But so yeah, like she was with this guy it's been 4 months now, which is that's they were getting into relationship territory. And, he calls her every day. They're together all the time. And so she was actually in Florida with me the last weekend I was there. She flew in and we went to Lauderdale and visited a friend of ours. And yeah, they're FaceTiming every day, hey, babe, love you, this and that. And all of a sudden I see her last week and she goes, he has totally gone silent for a week.
Interesting.
And I was like, there's someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a guy. I don't know. Maybe it's with guys, but that's always my brain's like, if he goes quiet out of nowhere, there's always somebody else.
Yeah.
Because in my circumstances, that's happened too, where, like I was dating a guy for 2 months and all of a sudden he went quiet and I looked on Instagram and he had started following his ex-girlfriend again.
Interesting.
And liking all her photos. And then he, he made up this big BS story to me, like, oh, I just need to work on myself. No, you don't. You try to get back with your ex-girlfriend. I see your Instagram. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not stupid. So Kim ended up talking to the guy, and he told her he went to Atlanta, and he was with someone else.
Got you.
So, you know, and he's trying to tell her he doesn't want a relationship, but I'm like, why would you date someone for 4 months if you didn't want a relationship? I ain't buying it.
Yeah. I ain't buying it on sale at Walmart.
Nope, I ain't buying
it. Yeah, but just to piggyback on what you were saying about the same things, you know, you end up seeing the same things and see why you left. One more story for me, and then, you know, we can sign off if you want, but it's with my mom. I mean, like her ex has been in the fray for a while now, and she struggles with it every day. She talks to him, she's like, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. And I really think because she hasn't met someone else yet, on one mind she teeters, should I accept him back? On another mind, she's like, but no, look at all this stuff. And she's always complaining about all the crap. And I'm like, Mom,
right?
You see, and it's showing you right now why you shouldn't get back with them.
I know.
No matter what the situation is, no matter what's going to happen later.
It's like comfort. Like, you just don't want to go find someone else, you know? Right. And so you're like, it's just easier for me to just take this person back.
Right. Exactly.
This dating is just terrible, you know?
Yeah, it is. The dating is very rough. So I mean, so again, for me, I would say I'm more on your side, where probably not. You know what I'm saying?
I just haven't seen it work out. The only time I have, but it was, I mean, they broke up for like a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my best friends back home ended up marrying a guy that I had introduced her to. And he had a freak out, like they were living together, and all of a sudden he moved out one day. Mm-hmm. And she was like, he just moved out of nowhere. Like, oh my God. I didn't even see this coming. But then it's like 2 days later, he moves back in and he was like, I'm so sorry. You know, he just had like a momentary freak out, and they're still married and they're fine. But, you know, anytime I've seen friends or family members, or even my own experience, get back together with somebody, I mean, it can be 20 years later, but it doesn't. Those issues always come back up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I completely agree. Again, unless it ended on a very cool, you know, amicable note. You know,
well, yeah, you know, if it's like and that's the thing, if it's life decisions instead of a problem in the relationship, right? If it's like, hey, I just got a job offer in Paris,
right? That's a good point. Yeah,
we should break up, I'm going to go there for a year.
Yeah,
that's different.
What's gonna happen? Yeah,
that's different because you still love that person, and that's kind of why I think my ex is the only one that like I was still attracted to and like had that possibility, because we didn't break up because we didn't love each other. Right. I was like, dude, you live in Orange County and you have 2 kids. Like, we have 2 totally different lives.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. But it's like we didn't fall out of, you know, we never stopped loving each other. So that's a little different.
It was just circumstantial. Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, if it's a problem in the relationship with your compatibility, and, you know, I think the circumstances can be different. But I think a lot of people go back out of comfort, you know, or they say there's like a psychological thing where, like, if you had a bad ending, you want to basically relive that and make it right. So that's why, like, a lot of people, like, if their dad abandoned them, you know, if they have a guy abandon them, they're going to keep trying to make that work, because it's like they're trying to rewrite what happened with their dad with this guy. You know what I mean? It's like you're trying to rewrite history and create your own happy ending.
Right.
So I can see that. But yeah, I think for our audience, if you want to take them back out of comfort because you just don't want to go find somebody new, don't do it.
Right.
Because it's just going to prolong you actually meeting the right person.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. So I'm going to call this show, Here's Why You Should Not Take an Ex Back.
Sure.
That's what I think I'm going to call it.
Yeah. Or you could say, should you take an ex back? And then people will wonder.
Question back. Should you take an ex back? Yeah, you could do that too.
Because a lot of people are going to want that. Or either one. Right. But I think a lot of people are teetering on that, you know, should I take an ex back? They might find this show, and, you know, some people want to hear what they want. Some people want to hear what they want to hear. So if it says you shouldn't take an ex back, they might be like, I don't want to listen to that.
Exactly. That's true.
I want someone to tell me to take them back.
Maybe I'll call it, should you take an ex back? ? I like that.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I'll just keep it simple. I'll just keep it plain and simple. That's cool.
Well, because then people don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good to see you, Rach.
I know, you too.
Let's get back on it and try to stay on top of it. Of course, I'm traveling again.
Yeah, it's okay. But I'm finally feeling better, which is
that's good. But you know what? I'm going to take all my stuff to Louisiana
Yeah.
So I'll let you know. You know, I could definitely knock out a show in a hotel room and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
I'm
we'll
I'm out of town. I'm going to Miami with a girlfriend of mine April 14th. So like that Wednesday through Sunday, it's just a couple days. But
yeah, I'll be there from the 11th to the 16th, Louisiana. So which we going the same time.
Yeah. So we'll take that week off.
Yeah, we'll take that week off. It's all good.
But yeah, I think we got some good I think we came up with some good subjects today coming up.
We're going to talk about, yeah, we are. Some good stuff coming up.
And I'll message the tantric sex lady too, so we
definitely
can get that going.
I have some great stories about tantric sex.
Oh, see, I don't know anything. I I'm so want to have her on to just like learn about it.
We gotta do it. I love that. All right, guys, it's relationships, romance, and propaganda. We expose the truth, broadcast the lies. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, ISNT Group Digital, and don't forget to follow us on social media. And we'll see you guys next time. We're out. Good to see you, Rach. Keep having fun.
I know. Good to see you too.
Get better, and I'll see you soon.
I will. Okay.
All right. Bye.